Hi guys and welcome back to iClone 3D, where we discuss tips, tricks and tutorials for the latest animation softwares. And if you haven't already, don't forget to sub to the channel and turn on bell notifications for all my future tutorials. Now today I've got a really cool tutorial how to throw objects realistically using the physics. This is, it's going to be a great tutorial. It really is the only way to realistically throw objects that look like real life, and it uses real life physics to do that. So what we're going to do is load up our scene. I've got my scene loaded up in front of me, and you're going to want a character and your object. So today we're going to use a grenade. So we'll just look at our little grenade here. So we're going to be throwing this object across the room, or the street as you call it. So what we're going to want to first do is click on our character, and of course we're going to want to get the motion of maybe the character bending down and picking up the grenade, etc. So I'm going to go into my motions and I'm going to search for pick up motion, which I should have some. Okay, so we'll just use this picking up object motion here. Okay, brilliant. So we can see the character picks up the motion. Now this is going to need a bit of correcting, so we're just going to need to drag our character up just to get him in the correct position, just as his feet make contact. This is much better. So what we're going to do then is we're going to align the character with the grenade. So we're going to go where the hand ends. It ends here. So what we can do is simply drag our grenade into position, and we'll drag that into position where the hand ends up. So about here, pretty much, I'd say. So we're going to right click and remove object animation, go back to the beginning of the timeline, and we'll hit play, and we'll just see how close that hand comes to the grenade. Okay, brilliant. So it doesn't look too bad. What we're going to do now is we're going to need to actually get his arm to stretch a little bit further down. So to do that, we'll hit play. About there, we want him to be connecting with the grenade. So what we're going to do is we are going to open up the edit motion layer, and we're going to click set a key, and that's going to set a key for us if it hasn't already. Okay, sorry, undo. So when you've set the key, you just want to open your motion tab, and that key will be set down here, and we're just going to drag that back a little bit. So we're going to go, and then just here as he gets down, so maybe just a little bit more back, just as he comes right down there, we're going to click on his hand, and we're going to just drag that hand down a little further, and we're just going to hit W again to get that on the correct axis, and we'll drag down, and we'll just position it right over that grenade, right like that. Looks good to me. If you can't see properly, you can take the bones off, and you can take off the patches, so you can just get a better look. So we can see his thumb's going through the grenade a little bit. So what we're going to want to do is we're just going to want to adjust that. We'll just adjust that thumb a little bit more. So we'll just drag that out to about there. Looks pretty cool. And then what we're going to do is, as we can see, the grenade's going through his hand. So we want that to look a bit more realistic as well. And we'll click on our grenade here. And what we can do, we're going to close the edit motion layer first. We'll just watch back what we've done as well, just to see how that syncs. Let me just go out a little bit and maybe drag these a little bit apart just to make it flow a bit smoother. And we'll just hit play, and you can see he reaches down. So there's a bit of a push. So if you want to smooth that out, you can then drag these out a little bit more. We'll just hit play here. Lovely, really looks cool. And you can see he reaches and he connects with that grenade. So what we're going to do now is we're going to want to position that grenade a little bit better in terms of when his hand's down here and he's gripped it. So we'll just go in onto that grenade, we'll just right click it, we'll hit our E tool, and we'll maybe have the grenade either slanted like this, and we'll just push it in a little bit more. Okay, let me undo that. It's not going to plan. So what we're going to do is just, as he lifts the grenade, we're going to keyframe the motion of the grenade, if that makes sense. So we'll just set a keyframe here on our grenade by double clicking on our transformer. And then as he picks and lifts, we're going to just rotate a little tiny bit. You don't want to do this too much. So if we go back and hit play, as he lifts it tilts a little bit. Okay, cool. Right, so then what we're going to do is we're going to attach that grenade to the hand at this point here. So we'll right click, we'll link it to his hand. So we'll go back and play, that picks up, but we still want to position that a lot better. So one of the things we can do is we can actually reposition a grenade from the beginning. So if we see his hand comes down to about there, we'll position the grenade a little bit better. So I'll just click on that. I'll twist that. Bring that up a little bit. Okay, it's moving very wonky. I think that's because it's connected to the hand. So let me just remove object animation. We'll bring that up. Okay, so we'll maybe have the grenade positioned like this at the start. So we're just going to need to remove the object animation here. And we'll go back as he reaches down. So that's where his hand ends up. So we're just going to want to position it a little more close to the hand. And we're just going to want to bring our character's hand down a little more. So we'll go on to here and we'll click on this final one here. And we'll bring that arm down just a little bit more so we can get that more close to the grenade. So we'll bring that down. Okay, that looks much better. It looks much more like, you know, he's gripping the grenade. So we'll just rotate a little bit. And we'll just lift up the fingers a little bit as well. And we'll just get that one finger here a little bit more out. Okay, cool. Brilliant. So looks good, not looking too bad at all. And we'll just go back to the beginning and we'll hit play. So we've got the grenade moving a bit, so we just want to remove the object animation of the grenade at this point. And then we'll go back and we'll play. Brilliant. So that looks really good, guys. It looks like he's picking the grenade up. And then at this point, we'll just attach that, right click, link to, and we'll link that to his hand. So if we go back now, that will lift the grenade up. Looks really good. I'm really happy with that. And you know, you can see it takes a bit of fiddling, it takes a little bit of concentration to get it looking accurate. But there we go. So now we have it. We'll just press play from the top and watch that back. And there we go, he lifts up the grenade. So what we're going to do now is we can get it a bit more tighter in the hand if you wanted to, by keyframing this grenade and, you know, moving it in slightly over time. I won't focus on that right now because that could take a little bit more time. So what we're going to do now is look how to actually make him throw this grenade. So he picks up the grenade from this point, and then maybe about here he wants to throw that grenade. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to want to load up a motion where he's throwing that grenade. So we'll just go here into our motions and we'll just use a throw grenade motion, and I'll just hit play and we can see he throws that grenade. Brilliant. So now what we're going to want to do is we realistically want to make that grenade throw, and, you know, using realistic physics to make that look like it's actually been thrown. So right now, as you can see, you know, the object doesn't leave his hand, obviously. So what we're going to do that is we're going to go back to the beginning of the timeline, and then we're going to click on our grenade here, and we're going to activate the physics, which are already activated, and we're going to leave that on kinematic. And what we're going to do is at the exact point our character throws the grenade. So this next point is important because wherever you want him to release the grenade, you have to kind of find that point in the timeline. So if it's there, that looks like a pretty good point. All you want to do is switch this to dynamic instead of kinematic. So we'll turn that to dynamic, and now that will basically release the grenade from his hand when we hit playback, as you can see. So I'm going to go back to the beginning and we're just going to play that and get a better angle of it. I'll hit play, and you'll now see he reaches over, picks up the grenade, and then he proceeds to throw the grenade. And you'll see it looks really realistic, the physics, and you can see the grenade keeps on going. Now, that is the great way to do it, to get realistic kind of physics, and get that throw in. Now you can change all sorts of things. If we go back to the point here where we get the grenade, where the grenade gets released, you can change a lot of the properties down here to get different results. So we can move the elasticity down, the dampening we can crank up a little bit, and if you wanted it to be a heavier object, you can crank the mass up as well. But a grenade's not so heavy, so what we're going to do is we're going to take that down to minus 10. Okay, so it doesn't actually let us go to minus. So let's try cranking it up a little bit just to see what the effects are. And if we go back here and press play, you'll see a different result with that grenade being thrown, less rolling time on the floor, etc. So, that's really the really cool way to throw objects in your scene. And you can apply that to anything, any item that you want thrown. And again, you can just come down here and play with that to get different results every time. So if we just hit play now, you can see that's much heavier, much different result that we're getting. So, you want to kind of amend these and adjust these appropriately and according to what object is being thrown. So a grenade like this, we're going to want it to go quite far. And what we'll do is we'll just bring this down. And we'll go back and hit play. Okay, so there we have it. Now, if you wanted the grenade to be kind of propelled at a different position, all you need to do is, instead of switching, so we'll turn that off and we'll delete this. And now what you can do is, at say this point, we can have the grenade released by turning dynamic on at that point in the timeline. And now you'll see it will have a different effect on the throw because we're releasing it at a different point in time. Okay, so there you go. You saw the grenade through in a completely different direction because we released it at a different point in the timeline. So it goes somewhere over there. Okay, so again, I'll try to release that at a different point and see what the desired effects are. I'm trying to make it go a bit higher and a bit further in front. So I'll just click on that. We'll go back to our physics. We'll change to kinematic and then we'll delete that there. And we're going to just go back. Okay, so that seems to have deleted our props. So let me just undo that. We'll go back onto our physics. So we're going to release the object at maybe, okay, not that point. Okay, so we need to get rid of this without deleting the object. So I'll just delete that. Okay, so we're going to release at about that point and see if that gives us a different result. Brilliant. So there you go. You can see that gets a bit more height on it and, it gets it a bit more up in the air. So that concludes the tutorial, guys. Really hope that helps. Really hope it helps you get creative and, do all sorts of amazing stuff. As you can see, it is very, very simple once you get it all set up and, it really does look amazing. So really hope that helps. And hope to see you guys again soon for another tutorial.